call me old man Wade.
Damn you, old man!
Wait.
Old ass man.
Shut up, old man. You smell like fart.
No, man!
Old man.
He's so old, he got a podcast on cassette.
Fuck, you're old.
Damn it, Wade.
And welcome to the Old Man Wade Show. I am your host, Old Man Wade, and I'm sitting here with a couple of guys who are doing me an amazing favor by getting together and making this, I want to say, a brilliant, Infinity Gauntlet worthy collaboration of the Amalga-Mania crew and the Old Man Wade Show. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce yourselves.
My name is the boy wonderful, Ian Wallace, admin, co-founder of the Amalga-Mania group. Hello all.
And I am the Lieutenant Commander Data of Amalga-Mania, Justin Cooper.
But this Data has a sense of humor.
He really does. He really, really does.
So,
Mark, big time fan of the show. Shout out to your boy Javi, and hello to the missus.
Hey, everyone.
Mrs. is doing psychology work, and she's not very happy about it.
Oh man, homework is never a good thing.
Nah, not even a little bit. She'll get it, and she's smart as hell. It's just tedious having to do a bunch of stuff that she's already done before.
Yeah, I know that problem. Believe me, I know that burden.
So, admin, co-creator.
Yes, sir.
Boy Wonderful. May I call you Mr. Wonderful?
I mean, you know, if you have to.
Mr. Wonderful. Tell the audience about the Amalga-Mania page.
Wow. It's hard to put in to make it concise, so I'll just go for as short and sweet as I can make it. It's a multi-interest group that focuses on pretty much anything that has to do with fantasy, nerd, geek, anything encompassing. We do live segments, giveaways, we have a book club, we do subscriptions to comic books, we do all kinds of cons and events, interviews, weekly shows, you name it. There's if you need it, it's in this group. And mostly we're just here to kind of revamp this culture and bring it back to its roots where we remember it, how it was for us and all the wonderful things that we got out of it. And we're trying to pass that on to this more digital, more information age where everything's kind of at their fingertips. They don't know what it's like to kind of, you know, go back and forth to the comic shops and trade cards with your friends and all. It's not a big thing like it used to be back then. And we're trying to integrate that back into this culture. So I have a bunch of kick-ass, wonderful people working with me and around me all the time. And they make this place, you know, awesome. It's just, like I said, there's nothing you can't find here in this group.
So one of the things I love about it is it's very few groups that you could actually have an opinion without being like berated. Like I remember making a comment about how I thought Superman made a better villain, and I got attacked, and I was like, okay, I think I'll just leave this group. But if I come and say something here, it's different. It's all love. It's like even if someone disagrees, it's not a yelling match. It's a conversation.
Oh, there'll be none of that in Amalga-Mania. There is never any of that. We have a wonderful security team outside of Facebook. We don't go to Facebook for any of our security needs. We have a team of roughly 6 or 7 people who are amazing when it comes to making sure that people, you know, are conversating, are having difference of opinions. The whole premise behind this group is that we want a safe place where you can come and think and say and do whatever it is that you want to do and feel as far as these things that we love. You know, they're all a bunch of different aspects, but we want you to be able to come, like it says, it's a place where all characters are welcome, you know, where you can come and just kind of say whatever you want out of your mouth, and you shouldn't be barraged and cast out because of that. Your opinion may teach somebody something or show somebody something or help someone through something. You never know. All characters are welcome. All opinions.
All things that we've done too. Like we've helped people through things from like I feel like we stopped a kid from committing a crime one time. You know, we won't go into specifics.
I remember that. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Well, our team, the guys and girls, including Justin Cooper and myself, who work with the security team. J. Damian Dillon runs that. He's the head of that. Awesome guy. Him and William Salazar, they run it in conjunction with each other, and they're both phenomenal guys. Like, if there's anything that happens, they're kind of all over the top of it. They won't allow for people to get all, berated and all crazy. If they feel like it's a situation, they'll step in and very cordially talk. We've never had any problem. These guys are just wizards at it. They know how to deal with the problem, and when we work collectively, there's nothing that we can't do together. So, yeah, it's built to be that kind of place where you can share what you feel and share what you think without any kind of consequence.
So I gotta go. So I'll ask Coop first. What's your dork expertise?
Comic books, Ninja Turtles, X-Men, Batman, a lot of Batman, Fraggle Rock, that's a big one. Lord of the Rings, that kind of stuff. So those are kind of the big go-tos. That's what I would say.
Tell me something about Fraggle Rock that people would tell people something about Fraggle Rock that people wouldn't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
That it exists.
Couple seasons on
Most
HBO.
people won't know that.
I don't know. I grew up loving the show. Something you wouldn't know. So Doc from Boondock Saints, right? He was in it.
Seriously?
Yeah, so the bartender from Boondock Saints was in Fraggle Rock.
With the Tourette's. Or with the stutter or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
See, you only learn stuff like that on the Amalga-Mania and the Old Man Wade show. So, Ian, what's your dork expertise? I have to copyright that, by the way.
Well, actually, you really do. That's kind of awesome. I was thinking about borrowing that, But other than stealing people's ideas and passing them off as my own, I'm a master of all trades. I'm sorry, jack of all trades, master of none. In this group, I gotta know everything. I gotta be able to know everything. I gotta sample everything. I gotta try everything. So my dork expertise is anything encompassing dorkness, I guess. I know a little bit about everything. Or I try to.
What's something you found out new? What's your newest thing then? Like, so what's something that you just jumped on? You decided this is something I'm gonna learn more about.
Wow. Oh, whew. Well, anime. Recently, I have been delving into a lot of anime mostly because of Santino Mancebo. He won't have it any other way. I have to open myself up to the anime. I wasn't as well versed as I should have been, and he showed me that by introducing me to some newer things. And one of those things was My Hero Academia, and I absolutely fell in love with this anime. It is, by bar none, one of the best newer ones that I've seen, period. And that is also with the bias that I haven't seen a whole lot. But the few that I have seen, including Attack on Titan, Tokyo Ghoul, Darker Than Black, what are some of Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, those are some of the ones that I have stayed pretty much current on. And My Hero Academia is by far it's in the echelon of any one of the ones I just named, easily. And it's only in its third season, so check that out. And that's my new thing right now, is I'm kind of working with it. We have a new segment coming, or not a new segment, but an old segment that's getting revamped in the group called Anime a la carte, where we cook a dish and buy a snack that goes along with something in the anime that we enjoy. And we share it with the group and the experience of doing those things, trying something new and also watching something new. So that's what I've been on to lately, is just trying to keep up with that and following with the anime. And it's been a lot of fun and very tasty at that. I've had some very interesting things, including, I don't know where I did with them. Oh, here they are. Asian pears.
Ah.
So yeah, it just exposes you to new stuff and new things or whatever. So that's my new kick, is I'm really into the anime real heavy. And plus I'm also a huge comic fan. Marvel, DC, Image, whatever you got.
All right, so let's get into comic books. Let's get into the conversation we were talking about a couple days ago, actually, when we decided to make this happen. The Mark with the Mouth. Degenerate. Wade Winston Wilson. Sometimes he's from Canada, sometimes he's from Cleveland, who knows? It all depends on who's writing the damn story.
Yeah.
So, you guys want to get into the movie first, or you want to get into the lore first?
I say let's go
I'm
lore.
more familiar with early Deadpool, like when he first came out, like New Mutants '98, and kind of that area. I remember getting the first series that he was in, drawn by like Joe Madureira, where he was going up against the Juggernaut.
Oh yeah,
And Black
That
Tom
was- that was
Cassidy,
actually
I remember
pretty
that.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I remember that because Black Tom Cassidy had just got arrested by X-Force, and somehow Deadpool was contracted to go after the Juggernaut after they had dispatched him with Spider-Man. I remember that. It was all around
Yep.
the same time, 1990. Yep.
got a good
At
one
that
for you.
point, Black Tom Cassidy had just gotten like his wooden arms and all that, so he could shoot out. He didn't have to hold the shillelagh.
Yeah, the little thing. Yeah. What was the name of that thing called?
Deadpool wasn't really funny back then, you know. Like
No, he was a dick.
Yeah, he's like, honey, I'm home, and it's like no one finds you funny.
Right. I don't think he was written that way. I'm gonna be honest with you, and it was funny. I was just actually talking to Santino about this earlier today. I don't think Deadpool was written to be that slapstick kind of shock value kind of guy. I believe that he was intended to be like a mercenary and assassin who just had a real violent, real kind of wild, crazy side or whatever, like mentally ill side. And I think that was kind of what Leftfield was going for back then. I think that's kind of the kind of area he was trying to delve in with Deadpool. And as you can see, he was kind of always in the shadows. His whole appearance was like a shadowy kind of revealing thing. So
Yeah.
I don't think he was intended to be a funny character. I think that it just kind of like Mark said a couple seconds ago, just whoever's writing it, it kind of just developed into that, like from it changing hands from left field to, I forget who the next artist and writer was who was writing Deadpool after that.
So
Joe Kelly and Ed
Joe
McGinnis.
Yes, and so, as it changes hands, I'm guessing that it changed speeds as well. Or at least that was my take on it. Because he's a completely different character from then till now, in my opinion.
He did, and it was actually a dramatic change. And he went from the random, like, kind of pop-ups, as you said, like, he'd pop up in Wolverine, he'd pop up in X-Force. I've seen him, so it was just weird the way he'd pop up. Then out of nowhere, in this 4-part miniseries called The Circle Chase, he had his first real heroic moment where it looked like he sacrificed some of his healing power for Copycat.
for Vanessa.
Yeah, and then the next series when he met Siren, the one when
Teresa.
Kilbrew, Kilbrew was trying to hunt him down for Black Tom because he figured the best thing for him to do would be to find Deadpool's healing factor since it would work to heal him of the woodenness, I guess if that's what you want to call it.
The virus.
And then out of nowhere he was like jokey McJokester, but I liked it because they gave him more of a personality. He wasn't just a spoof of Deathstroke. He started to become an actual character. Like, you know what I mean? In his very first issue of his ongoing series, he was told to go blow up a facility that he was told was empty. Come to find out, it was very much not empty, and destroying that would have caused, I think, like thousands or millions of people to get cancer. And since that's a point that hit home to him, he sacrificed his life. He almost sacrificed his life to stop what was going on. And that was his first actual selfless moment. You know what I mean? So it was like, it took say about 5 years, you know what I mean? A couple of miniseries and a couple of, special appearances for him to become an actual character, not just this, like, he didn't become Taskmaster.
That's actually a really good comparison. Him and Taskmaster.
That's a great story too. When they fight and Taskmaster loses on purpose because he wants to get business that he knows that people won't go to Wade because Wade will screw it up. But Taskmaster showed all the people from the mercenaries, just like, yeah, this guy's going to screw everything up. See, and it was a brilliant masterstroke that he did.
Well, that's Taskmaster. He's a lot like the Bat in that respect. He's not going to come to the fight unless he has the win in hand. And he's always kind of been that kind of character. If he doesn't already have an edge, he's not going to even engage you. So I like that about him. And, that was kind of the same thing with Deadpool at first, which I was also reflecting on earlier, was just that he was very tactile. He wasn't like so much just crash through a window and take a whole bunch of gunfire and, whatever, exchange it
Yeah,
back. He
that's
was
true.
very tactile, and he was like you'd be dead before you even notice he was there, and or that's how most of his mercenary kills were prior. Was like it'd be a room full of dead people, and you wouldn't, especially with that teleporter, and you wouldn't even know Deadpool was there. He wouldn't get a chance. Maybe the last person that was left alive, he would mouth off to a little bit. But there wasn't this whole like introduction where he's so brazen. He like got the job done and then kind of mouthed off, and I really like that about him. And again, you can see the parity between him and Deathstroke, and I think that's why the character changed so much in time, is because they wanted to kind of pull away. It was an effort to pull away from Deathstroke, which he was that guy at the time, especially around that time in the 90s, like the early 90s, the runs with the Teen Titans. Deathstroke was like, he was it in the DC universe as far as like non-superpowered villains. He was it. He was like the cream of the crop. So they needed to pull away from him, and in an effort to do that, I think that's where Mark, the mention of his personality kind of comes through, where he's starting to become an entity. Not just this kind of character who's there, but an actual person, like a different person than what he was intended to be. And I think that's kind of awesome. And unfortunately, that's where I lose him at in the comics, where I'm like, I tuned out because I just couldn't take the shock value, the shock jock kind of, I'm here to kind of make you pay attention to that thing. I'm popular because I say things that, I'm not supposed to say or do, or inappropriate things or whatever. And it's like, for me, those moments, like somebody like the Punisher, who's like this family guy, morally sound. Normally the Punisher's a pretty okay guy, but then he'll have these moments where he kind of wigs out and like brutally kills a guy or does something like completely visceral. But those moments are encapsulated in those moments, and it's usually when somebody really pisses him off. So, okay, they're relegated to those moments, and you can stomach that. And that's okay with that character. But Wade, it's like, every story is this way, where he's doing this kind of outlandish, outrageous thing, even where he's breaking the fourth wall. And I think that, for me, made me kind of tune out. I wasn't as interested in him as I was when he first came out, where he was like this shadowy figure. I didn't know if he was going to like start the next Kree Skull War or something, or if he was like some kind of hidden herald of Galactus. He had that air of mystery to him, where it's like, who the hell is this dude, and where did he come from, and why is he so familiar with Weapon X and Wolverine, and like, you needed to know all of these things, and they could have just did so much with the character from that standpoint, but decided to go a different route. And
You wanted Storm Shadow, is what you wanted.
it would have been, honestly, I think Marvel needed that at the time. I think at the time, Marvel had like a lot of powerful, your Wolverines with your unbreakable bones and claws and stuff, and then you had like all your mutants and, your Captain Americas and all your Winter Soldiers and all these different like really ridiculous superpowered beings, where here comes this mutant who kind of has a healing factor, but all his other skills were kind of just like learned and pretty human outside of him being able to heal himself. And I was like, hell yeah, like use that. Like that's what you need. But I wasn't writing for Marvel.
Right. So I got something for you. First of all, funny thing, not mutant. His powers actually, his healing factor came after he got cancer, and it's actually a derivative of Wolverine. So they took Wolverine's DNA, put it in him, and his healing factor is specifically designed for him. There was an issue of the Skrull invasion, where his whole thing was Nick Fury hired him to take out the Skrulls to get the information on how to kill the Skrull Queen. And the way he tricked them was saying, you see what I did to all of them. So you have all these other guys and their combined might. What you need is me. So they cloned his DNA, they put it in all their Skrulls, and right before they were about to do it, Deadpool goes, yeah, come and take me. But they all exploded. Because they're not regenerating lost cells, they're just regenerating more cells and more cells until they exploded. So it's because, and I wanted to talk to you about this Monday, but I wanted to mention this on the show. One of my issues with Deadpool is the perception that he gives off, because a lot of it is really slapsticky. So most of the clips that people may see, and most of the clips or pictures that people show, are just him like doing goofy things. But then you see a guy who basically tricked one of these smartest races in the world into killing all of their Super Skrulls and then replacing them with his Skrulls, which eventually killed themselves. He's also a guy that, like, Nick Fury went to him to figure this out. He was such a threat that Norman Osborn made it a concerted effort to go, okay, I stole this from Deadpool. We have to kill him now. You know what I mean? It's like, so it bugs me that how he turns people off, you know what I mean? And a lot of it has to do with some of the writers, because sometimes you get these people who aren't writing, like you brought up Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe.
Right.
That was fun, but I'm reading this and I'm going, there's no substance to this. All he's doing is killing a bunch of people. That's not Deadpool. Deadpool, he does make jokes, but people forget how skilled he is. He's beaten Wolverine. He's taken on Captain America. He's one of the few people Taskmaster can't beat on a regular basis. Like he's beaten Bullseye. He's outsmarted Daredevil. You know what I mean? So he is that good. General Ross isn't just going to go to just anybody for his Thunderbolts. He went to Deadpool and goes, I need someone like you. You know what I mean? So usually when I tell people and they go, I want to learn about Deadpool, I tell people start with a series called Dead Presidents. And it's really goofy, but there's a moment at the end of the book where he gets serious as hell. And this guy, resurrected George Washington, evil resurrected George Washington goes, what, no jokes? And then Deadpool looks at him with a straight face, and it was funny but serious. He goes, no jokes. My name is Wade Wilson. You've killed my friend. Prepare to die.
Nah.
See, we were just talking about that with Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, with Teddy Roosevelt. With who did he fight? Deadpool. Yeah, he was fighting Deadpool. Yeah.
Hooters wins last week.
Yep. That's awesome.
It's Jerry Dugan and comedian Brian Posehn.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it was great because it was all this comedy, but then they really dove into like Deadpool's like inner thoughts. You find out that like he had a kid. You find out that he like really wants to be a better person. He develops a family. Like Captain America and Wolverine become his friends.
Yep.
You know, these are people he respects. And then all of that just to lose it. You know what I mean? So they give him so when Jerry Dugan kept on writing it, they created this like the perfect life for Deadpool just for him to lose it all in his very last issue of that run. And I was like, wow, you gave him everything just to lose it. And those are the kind of stories that I wish more people saw. Not just the.
And it's called Dead Presidents.
Dead Presidents. That's where I tell people to start, because it is goofy. It is very Deadpool. But once you get to the climax, you're like, oh shit, this got real.
I wanted to touch on something that you had mentioned earlier about him being a mutant or not being a mutant. It's funny because we had this debate in the group where it was what classifies you, because we were going to do a mutant tournament kind of where it was only mutants evolve, and one of the questions was, should Deadpool or the Ninja Turtles be involved, because are they really mutants? And it comes to find out that in the Marvel Universe, the term mutant is used for someone who has mutated DNA and they contain the X gene. So the definition in the Marvel Universe for mutant is different. The actual definition for a mutant is anyone whose cellular structure or DNA makeup is mutated by an outside source. Radiation, different types of cells, different types of cell structures, disease, virus. Anything that mutates a person's physiology from the outside makes them a mutant. I.e., Poison Ivy is a mutant. I.e., Deadpool is a mutant. All four of the Ninja Turtles and Splinter, mutants.
Toxic Avenger is a
mutant. You know what I mean? Spider-Man, mutant.
Yep.
The Inhumans.
Yeah, all of them mutants. They're all born with their power.
We don't talk about that.
Those X-Men knockoffs, as Coop likes to call them.
They're so terrible.
Hold on. Let me hit the brakes on this. So, do you know one of the things that's annoyed me about the Inhumans? And I'm not sure if you guys have read this piece that I wrote. And it was the Inhumans were destined to fail back a month after their first time they were introduced. They were the Fantastic Four's punching bag for decades. Why would anybody give a shit about them all of a sudden? And then they kill Wolverine. And then they make Carnage this like brooding guy in a hoodie and I'm like, Carnage's boring. He's not Wolverine. Like, it took decades to get Wolverine right.
Right.
Like,
We're
Wolverine
literally making Ian Boyle right now talking about Carnage and Black Bolt. Oh my god.
No, hold on. I'm a huge. Wait, okay. Let me get my standpoint right here.
You just got kicked out of a group for talking about Black Bolt.
I went off on it, dude, because of Black Bolt.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kicked me out because I really got extra. Because honestly, the guy was just being a jerk.
I'll sit and listen.
No, the guy was being a jerk. That's why I ended up getting kicked out. But I was trying to tell him about Black Bolt, and it got real ugly. But anyway.
No. So you tell me about Black Bolt because I want to hear this. I'm not going to debate
I'm a
it.
huge Black Bolt fan.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge Black Bolt fan. From the beginning, of course, like you said, when they were kind of just like a spoof of the Fantastic Four and just kind of like what would happen if, the X-Men were corny. Then you have the and that's kind of what they were in the beginning of their team or whatever, the Marvel Universe, and they weren't really impressive. But Black Bolt and Carnage have always been, for me, I love those characters. Outside of the Inhumans, I was waiting for the moment where somebody got brilliant and said, let's have all of the Inhumans killed off except for like 5 of them. Or just like the Royal Inner Guard. Let's kill off all the Inhumans on Earth except for these 5. And then let's see where it goes from there. Because then you got to multiply and divide, and then I think the struggle for the Inhumans would have been a lot more visceral. The Avengers would have had to gotten involved. The X-Men would have gotten involved. Who knows what side the X-Men would have landed on. Hey, look, we're going through some shit too. Do you want to team up and and that whole Terrigen thing, and it could have just turned into an Inhuman mutant kind of world. There's a lot of different ways it could have went. My point being is, yes, the Humans was a failed project from go, but they did produce some awesome characters. Black Bolt's one of them. I love the fact that
people don't appreciate how great Black Bolt is.
I really don't think they do. I don't think that they get like how awesome this character really, and not just from the standpoint of him being Inhuman, but his power set and the way he carries himself.
Oh my God,
he's such a regal kind of, like, he is the king, and he's T'Challa with no voice. Honestly, he's the same exact character as T'Challa outside of their origin stories and stuff. But they're like how they carry themselves, how they're dignified, how they deal with people, very much alike, and they actually get along very well. Outside of them doing the whole Atlantis thing, they've always kind of kept a mutual respect them to, and I think that has a lot to do with it, how they carry themselves. But yeah, him and Carnage, I think, was just the writers just kind of had a ball with him, and they wanted to kind of make him, which they should have done from the beginning. This man's power is to see the weakness in anything. So yeah, you got like a character that you could do anything with, but decide, oh, we'll just make him the lapdog of some royal family. Carnage should have broken off and did his Kung Fu Wisdom Man thing and traveled the world just breaking down the strongest shit because he can do that. And it would have been an awesome adventure for him to just end up walking around New York City like, yeah, I could just break up the Empire State Building.
There's a fatal flaw here. So I got to interject about Carnage because everyone thinks that Carnage is the GOAT, right, when it comes to this. But the fact of the matter is, if you can see the weakness in something, you do not necessarily possess the skills or the tools that you have to break it.
True.
You can look at a bridge and you can say, this bridge is going to be weak here if I hit it here with enough force. However, with your fist or with your kick, you cannot break it because you're freaking Carnage. So,
but something interesting about him that a lot of people don't know is that because of his being a human, he is super strong. And he does have super strength to a certain level. I know it's above Captain America's and not quite 5-ton range, but it's in between 2 to 5-ton range is where he's at. So
it's like a regular Asgardian is stronger than like the regular human. They run around Spider-Man mode.
Like, yeah, that's the same kind of scale. Whereas they're Inhumans, but because of his power and his physiology, he has a monicum of super strength. So again, writers, you have this guy who, like Coop said, could reason. I mean, you got Captain America throwing blows, staggering the Hulk, and nobody bats an eye. Nobody's like, oh, wait a minute, no, fuck that. That's not supposed to happen. But like, you have this guy who could actually reasonably super strength, super durability, can see the weakness in anything. That could actually go in and pressure point Hulk to unconsciousness or turn him into Bruce Banner. He really could do that. Like, if you had a good writer behind it, you could say, this is a guy who could go in and reasonably do this to this guy. Where Captain America's kind of just like, literally going toe-to-toe with Bruce Banner, like, as he's green, and everyone's like, oh, wow, this is an awesome story. And I'm like, what the fuck? And like, where's the comparison here? Like, why don't you take some of these characters, Black Bolt, who's actually tossed the Hulk around for real? Like,
yeah.
Like, head up. Like, mano-y-mano, like literally is tossed the Hulk around. Thor, even. Like, and like you're not doing anything with these guys, but you'll take a character like Captain America and put him on this level? Why? What's the reasoning behind that?
So this further to my point. People talk about their love for Wolverine, and I have to remind people, Wolverine didn't become an interesting character until the first time we saw him cry. No one really cared about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he did. Like, it took decades to really get him right.
I was a huge Wolverine fan in the 90s.
So, no, but this. I wasn't a big fan of Wolverine. I liked Wolverine in the 90s. He was the reason I got into comic books. I didn't become a big fan of Wolverine until I got back into comic books and I read all new X-Men, and I realized that, like, he was just, like, he was deeper, like, you know what I mean? Like, when he went on adventures, you know what I mean? It was, like, he was protecting people. He wasn't just this, like, savage guy who was just cutting guys up. He wasn't, you know what I mean? As a kid, you're like, oh, he's killing a bunch of people, that's cool. But as you get older, you're like, I need more depth than that. So they start giving him more depth. And then, I think it was like maybe 2009 when he got his memories back, watching him go out for revenge, finding out that he was a dirtbag for like most of his life. Then you find out that he was being manipulated all this time. So like it's taken him a while to get the recipe right. I don't think that, as you're talking about Carnage, I'm thinking, what if Carnage was a pacifist? Like, you know what I mean?
That would be interesting.
What if he was walking around like Kane and Kung Fu, just kind of like trying to find the meaning behind things? Like, what if one day it was like, they said to him,
write that shit up. Write that shit up. I'll buy the first 5 copies. That's what I'm talking about. That would be I'd read that story. And a guy who could literally dismantle anyone one-on-one, like,
yeah,
for real.
What if he became a politician?
Or exactly. Or somebody who could fix. And remember, he sees the flaws in all things. What if he went into somewhere like Johannesburg, South Africa, and was like, I'm just going to fix this? Because he
What
can't.
if he became a record producer?
Well, no.
No, here's one thing. What if they
Absolutely not. I couldn't do Carnage Records. I tried to draw the line of Carnage Records.
Carnage Records sounds dope.
It does really sound good.
Yeah, but here's a good one for you. What if what if for like 4 years, in the comic book world, Carnage is just quiet and he's just so pissed off at everything that goes on? What if he turns into Magneto? What if he's like, I'm going to fix everything? And in realistic, like, he thinks he's fixing everything. It's like he's like Dr. Doom has a big heart. He's just a dick and doesn't realize he's being an asshole. You know what I mean? So what if Carnage's in a situation where it's like, oh, I want to fix this, I want to do better, but I can't.
Hold on 1 second. I got to keep the dogs quiet. It's just Uncle Sonny. Stop it.
That sounds good. I mean, I think we can all agree that Dr. Doom is probably one of the greatest comic characters ever made.
I love that. Dr. Doom is he's easily one of my favorite villains. Him and Vader, I think it's kind of neck and neck with them too. They're the type of guys that can pretty much do anything they set their minds to, and have done anything they set their minds to. And I love that about them.
I think that if Carnage was doing just that, he would figure out a way to serve Doom, like we all should be.
Honestly, I think that Doom would make him kind of like... Doom would find a way to soup Carnage up. Mystically or genetically, and he'd make him like his right-hand man. Because think about it. That's just insight Doom has to have. Because to be able to see the flaw in everything, man... Like, hey, I'm about to take over this small country. Carnage's like, well, here's what you want to do. You want to insert your men here, here. Think about what Doom can do with a Carnage as like a sidekick.
Well, he's always lacked that perspective, too. Even when he was God Doom in Secret War, he lacked the ability to say, oh, well, Sinister's plotting against me, or, you know, the Braddocks or some shit like that. It's like he's always lacked that perspective.
I got to disagree. I don't think Doom has ever lacked perspective ever on anything. I think what his thing is hubris. Doom is so Doom.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's kind of similar hand in hand.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't disagreeing. I was just saying.
Hubris, yeah.
What I'm saying is that Doom is one of the most insightful guys in the Marvel Universe. And what I mean by that is, although he's Dr. Doom and he kind of just like is Doom and does what Doom does, in those moments when he's kind of just talking, and saying things, I'm like, and this is a villain. I remember this one time he was talking about how his memory works and how he remembers every single moment of his life. He trained himself to be able to remember every single moment of his life. Had something to do with some mysticism he was dealing with, but he was talking about these early years and his perspective in those early years and how he felt about things. And I was like, this is Victor Von fucking Doom I'm reading right here. But it wasn't for that moment. It was like him younger before he was Doom. And I think I would love to know more about that guy. I would love to know more about Victor Von Doom when he was younger before he became who he was growing up. I'd love, like how they did Magnus with where Eric was a young kid in the Holocaust growing up.
Oh my!
I would love to know what Latveria looked like when Doom was 12. I would love to know what the world looked like from his perspective. That would be awesome. So yeah, be on the lookout for that when you're reading these Doom books and checking him out. I mean, he's Doom and he's doing what Doom does. But read those mind bubbles. Read those conversations he's having. Like, peep what he's saying, because the dude is ridiculously insightful.
Did you read the Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom book?
Where they were working on closing some portal was going to like end all life or something. Was that the one you're talking about?
So Doctor Doom asked help from Doctor Strange to go to the underworld to save his mother's soul, because his mother was a gypsy, and her soul got taken over by like Mephisto. So he had to go and basically trick the devil into releasing his mother's soul.
That was after they lost a contest or something like that, right? A mysticism contest, and the person who came in second place could ask a boon of the winner.
Well, here's the thing. Doom tried to screw over Doctor Strange and leave him there and take his mother's soul back. Yeah, so, and I mean, he did the same type of thing with Excalibur, the team in the 90s, when he tried to steal Limbo. And going back to Deadpool on this one, if you guys read Doom War, Deadpool was the one thing that Doom could not predict. That's why Reed Richards asked him, and T'Challa asked him to Wakanda.
So that's how that got started with him and Black Panther.
Yep.
I'm going to read that story. I never read the whole Doom War. I read like 5 books of it. And
so good.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That segues back to Deadpool. And one of the reasons I love him as much as I do is because T'Challa respects him so much and respects his skill, respects the sort of chaotic, anarchist, haphazard style that he's like, I'm going to throw something that even Dr. Doom won't see coming.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? He has a plan for Wolverine.
That's T'Challa. I mean, he that's how he is. He breaks the problem down from the solution to where there isn't one. You know what I mean? He goes backwards, and he's awesome at that kind of stuff. So him teaming with Deadpool to kind of foil Doom makes all the sense in the world. Although you'd never see it coming. Too. Yeah, you'd never see that coming. You're right.
This was a transition from the relationship with Storm to when Storm and Wolverine got together too.
When they broke up? You mean when they broke up? Okay.
And if you recall, T'Challa said one thing: anyone but him.
Anyone but him. But it's funny because he knew that him and Storm and Wolverine have had a connection forever. And I've always said that they make a better couple than T'Challa and Storm do. Wolverine and Storm make a better couple than T'Challa and Storm. But here's a funny thing. There was a fight between Deadpool and Black Panther.
I remember that.
And the funniest shit ever was, and T'Challa said, "You can't beat me." Deadpool goes, "But I can annoy you." And T'Challa, being him, he's like, "No, you can't." He goes, and he says, "I think something." He was talking. He said something about The Walking Dead. Not Walking Dead. Game of Thrones. And T'Challa was pissed and goes, "Did you just ruin those books for me?" And that just threw him off.
Oh, that's terrible.
He goes, "You'll never know. I guess you'll just have to wait another 3 years to find out."
That's terrible. That's fucking terrible.
Did you guys read Gambit in Deadpool? Or Gambit v Deadpool? That was a pretty fun one.
What was that about? I actually I own a copy of it. I think number 2, I have a copy of it, and I've never read it. But I saw the cover and was like, wow. Because I'm a huge Gambit fan. Like, one of my favorite mutants of all time. And
I didn't appreciate him until recently.
Well, I mean, I don't know what's going on with him now in Legacy, but I'm talking about up until Legacy. I love everything they've done with Gambit. Even when he was a Horseman of Apocalypse, I think that they've done flawless things with this man.
He's back together with Rogue now. And
Makes sense.
It's funny because Rogue was Deadpool's girlfriend up until recently.
Really?
Yeah, and he fucked that up.
Well, that makes sense because he can't really get hurt from her power. So.
But here's the funny thing about it. So they kissed, and he ended up looking normal, and then she ended up looking messed up.
That's awesome.
And so, but it kind of worked, and it was like, that's the one thing I love about Deadpool. Deadpool is a Shakespearean character. Yes. No matter what happens to him, wait 5 seconds, it's gonna go to crap. You know what I mean? So like, it's like if something. So like, what is it? The higher the cliff, the longer the fall.
Yeah.
Is that a Miley Cyrus song?
God, it probably is.
I might have to end. I might have to end this show if I just made a Miley Cyrus comment.
It's a look. We've all been
I don't know
your
what
brother.
you're talking about.
But
yeah, the Gambit one is good. It was actually written by the two guys that do the Thrilling Adventure Hour podcast. So if you've ever heard that, they get a lot of big celebrities on there to do that. Like Bender was on there.
Oh.
But I mean, it's great. It's a heist book. Fat Cobra is in it. If you don't know who Fat Cobra is, he's amazing.
I love Fat Cobra.
I've never heard of him.
He is. Oh my God, Fat Cobra is one of the most vile.
Slept on.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh God, there was
You're gonna love him again.
There's an issue of Wolverine where he's like running. He was lost in a cave for like weeks, and then because you don't. And he comes up and he's like, six hens, 4 bottles of wine, and 3 wenches. He goes, no, I'll just take 10 hens and 6 bottles of wine, and no wenches. No, I gotta have the wenches. And it was,
yeah. Come on, now you gotta have the wenches.
And he's a bad man. Like he beat like Iron Fist in a fight. Like, he's a bad man.
And what's his name? Fat Cobra.
Fat Cobra.
Yeah.
I think I've seen this guy before. Is he like a fat guy with like a ponytail?
Maybe. I don't remember the ponytail, but
looks like a sumo wrestler.
No, that's not him.
Tattoos all over his body.
I gotta look him up, but I'm gonna definitely check him out. Kind of segueing back into Deadpool for a second. I got a question. The more recent stuff, which Mark, I'm sure you can answer this. Going into the comics, what are some good? And when I mean good, I mean like me being someone who was a fan of Deadpool early on, and kind of lost touch with him. What would you recommend as a reading list? Something other than Dead Presidents. What would you recommend that kind of really did it for you? The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
That is the best Deadpool book I've ever read in my life.
Okay.
It encompasses he goes through every emotion a person could. You see how ruthless he is, how aggressive he is, how much he cares about people. You see the side of him that like feels unappreciated. You see happiness. It's legitimately and I'll say it again, and I might have to say it's literally the best Deadpool book I've ever read in my life. Let me say it again, like Rob Lowe from Parks and Rec. It is literally the best Deadpool book you'll ever read.
Okay.
And it's actually a complete story. So even if you jumped right into it, there might be a few things that confuse you because you don't know what happened a few issues ago.
Right.
But it won't make a difference because the story is that damn good.
Okay.
If I had to pick another one, I would go with Deadpool the Gauntlet. It's a series where he meets his wife, who's a succubus who was betrothed to Dracula.
Wow.
It's a fun book. It's like from beginning to end, you get appearances from AIM, Hydra, Blade, Dracula, Frankenstein, a mummy, a centaur that's a werewolf that's also a symbiote.
I mean,
there's one mythical creature I haven't heard about. Does he make the Loch Ness Monster?
No, but goddamn Loch Ness Monster. Oh, and the fun fact: this monster also has diabetes.
Oh, okay.
It's and you're reading this, and the writer writes it in such a way that you're like, yes, like he is well aware of how silly this is,
right?
But it's still happening. So those are two. If you wanted to go back further, anything by Joe Kelly in his early incarnations, like when Deadpool first had his real run, was really good. It's the first time you actually see Deadpool try to save the world and fail, and how he reacts to it is amazing. And Daniel Way had a really fun run. It wasn't a 10. It was 79 issues, I want to say. And out of the 79 issues, I want to say 10 issues were bad. The rest were at least 7s.
Okay. Good. So that's I mean, because again, I want to, and I try to be fair to all my characters. It's kind of hard with me because I'm very, very biased when it comes to certain things. But I try to be fair, and that's one of the ways I think I'm going to do it. Is what's that? What do you got there, Coop?
You are Deadpool.
Ah, yes, I am.
It's a choose your own adventure. Oh, I was just trying to be subtle about it while you were talking, but it's a choose your own adventure with Deadpool.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
and it's like
they're on the third
you get
issue.
to decide where to skip through on the pages, like the old Choose Your Adventures from when we were kids.
Yeah,
sweet.
Absolutely.
All right, I could do that. I could definitely do that.
That's another one. A good one if you're just looking for a laugh. Deadpool: The Art of War. He decides to write his own version of The Art of War, but in order to do that, he had to. In order to do that, he had to start a war. So he goes to Asgard and gets involved, and he helps Loki defeat Thor.
Wow.
And that's the one where Loki looks at him and breaks the fourth wall. He's like, what are you looking at?
No. This is way after that. This was maybe 2010, 2011.
Okay. So, getting into some of the finer points of this character. Movie stuff. Let's get into the movie stuff.
Yeah.
I saw the first Deadpool, and again, as a fan, before he became the character that he is today, the one that
Before you go any further, I just want to quote Tropic Thunder. You better pump your brakes, kid. You want to cross the fucking line.
Look, I get it. I know.
That man's a national treasure.
Yes, I am. But
Is that Kirk Lazarus?
Yeah.
Oh, great! Now I'm getting it from every angle. It was again, when I saw the first one, I was like, okay, it was actually a good movie. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the movie. I thought it was a real low budget, which I'm glad they made fun of that, which is awesome because it kind of shows that it wasn't the actor's fault and that they did a really good job doing what they were doing. And I liked it. I thought it was a great movie. Again, the raunchy kind of shock value stuff was just, again, way, for my taste, way over the top for such a good character anyway and such a popular character anyway. I just kind of wanted to see them stray away from it. And they didn't for the first movie, and I get why, because it's kind of his introduction, his first kind of debut on the silver screen, and they kind of needed that element, which I get it. The second movie, I feel like fucking nailed it. I feel like they really... I watched that movie, and I really enjoyed it. Deadpool 2 was a good movie. Not just a good Deadpool movie or a good superhero movie. It was a good damn movie. Like, it was actually entertaining. It was funny. It was informative. It had heart. It had morality. It had, like... there were moments where I actually, like, felt for this dude for the first time in, like, ever.
I couldn't see him.
I was like, whoa, like, I actually felt for this guy. Like, I was, like, sad for him and was, like, feeling for him. And, what's the guy's name?
Rusty?
No, not Rusty.
Still Bender?
No. The actor who plays Deadpool.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. He did such a good job characterizing Deadpool in this movie versus the first one, where I feel like he didn't really do that enough. I feel like it was more origin story than getting to know this character, and I actually ended up liking movie Deadpool a lot. Like, I really like the way he kind of stood up to the X-Men, and like just his kind of whole dialogue with Negasonic and her girlfriend. It was like he was an awesome. He was like I could get used to that guy. I would read that guy's books. What'd you say, Coop?
Can I just say, it's funny because I've heard a lot of people say the exact opposite. I hear people say that they enjoyed the first one more than the second one. And I understand it from a movie standpoint when people say they like the first one more than the second one because the first one had, quote unquote, more heart because it was a love story. As a fan of Deadpool, I feel like the second one was specifically for the fans because you got that, as you said, you got that heart from him. Because it was like when he got thrown in jail, he finally tried to do the right thing, and it was taken away from him. Because he did the right thing by trying to shoot both those assholes. You know what I mean? And to have everything that happened to him after that, and then to see him go back and, I guess, almost become an asshole to this kid, and then try to save him, and then everything that happened in between all of that, it showed a lot of heart. It showed that he cared. And I think that's a lot of the things that people forget about Deadpool is that he does actually care. When bad things happen to him, it hurts him. He does dig inside of his head, and sometimes he's actually gotten to a point where he didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. He tried to become a pirate once. And then when he got bored with it after a day, and then he would stab himself in the leg a couple of times, and then jump into the ocean to kill a shark. Because he was bored. He was like, immortality is boring. He goes, and then he gets into this whole thing. He goes, he's having this argument with his subconscious, and he goes, I'm like anybody else. He goes, yeah, you know what it means when you're like nobody else? You're lonely. And I was like, oh, shit. So then you get really into that. And so I thought that's what the second movie had that the first one did, was actual Wade Wilson personality, not just slapsticky Deadpool.
And it didn't hurt to have, like, an amazing cast. Domino was phenomenal.
Zazie Beetz was the MVP in that movie.
Like, she was,
absolutely.
She blew me away. I want to see the Domino movie. I want to see it. She's fucking amazing. What was her name again?
Zazie Beetz.
I love that girl.
She upstage Brolin, which is something to say.
Because I agree. I agree 100%. She really did tap dance all over everyone's effort in that movie. Like, she was just, like, cool and smooth and fucking, like all over the place. She was just everything. She was just, and I was like, who is this chick? Like, and, like, as she was kind of doing her thing, I'm like, all right, Domino. So I was just waiting for her to fail epically at Domino. I'm like, nah, that's exactly what Domino would be like if she was a movie character. That's fucking, actually, that's it.
To be honest with you.
Huh?
I think she made Domino interesting.
I think she made Domino an actual character versus, thank you, Coop, versus what was in the comics and what we have been exposed to. She really did give her life. Like, that's what you want to see. Like, I mean, I've read team-ups with her and, like, her and Farrell, her and Cable, Domino and, like, Deadpool. And she's teamed up with a lot of people, and you see this, like, you see where they try to stretch her to be the person who this actor made her really into. Like, she was cool and demanding and, like, came in and was like, nah, I'm good. Everything's going to work out for me. Fuck you guys. And, like, proceeded to make that happen. It was like, watching her do it was like, what? I loved it. I thought
they were going to go into her relationship with Colossus, but they never went there.
I would have loved to see that. Awesome. I would have loved to see that, too.
Yeah.
Like, just to see that whole dynamic.
Can I add something?
This guy wants to talk. He's not on the camera.
I'm sorry.
Always everywhere else.
It's
He's
Tino.
on this one.
It's Tino.
You're Primo Tino, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I just want to point out.
That kid.
I just want to point out how fucking awesome it was to see Colossus actually get some shine, because how many movies did he appear in now?
About 5.
I only remember 2 of them. I remember both Deadpool movies. I remember anything before that.
Second X-Men, third X-Men.
Third X-Men.
Wasn't him.
Fourth X-Men.
It wasn't him.
Yeah, it was Colossus was in all those movies.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
Colossus was in X2. Colossus was in X.
See, he knows what I'm talking about, because he's like, no, it never happened. It never happened. Exactly my point. Exactly my point. My boy got shat on every single time he was on the fucking camera. Like, I'm sorry.
You can swear on here, so it's good.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I'm sorry.
And
also, I wanna point out how awesome it was to see Juggernaut actually being done justice on the big screen. That's just me. That's just me. You can hate me, you can love me, but whatever you choose, just respect me.
I will say one thing though. It was good that they attempted to give Juggernaut justice. Or that ain't my Juggernaut. Thank you. That's my Juggernaut. Thank you, Coop. And above him, yeah, I see that. I see you, Coop. That's not my Juggernaut. And don't get me wrong, that's only because I love that character. So if they don't do him perfectly, I don't give a fuck. I don't care how good he was. He was not my Juggernaut. So, but to see him and Colossus fighting on screen, that was something I needed that in my life. I really did need to see that shit go down, and it was great. It was all that fight.
All right, I'm gonna say this, and I'm pretty sure it's either gonna go one or two ways. Y'all are gonna hate it or you're gonna love it. Juggernaut makes a better hero.
Is a better hero?
Juggernaut makes a better hero.
Okay.
When he was with the X-Men and that relationship he had with Sammy, and then like him leaving and joining Excalibur, and watching him just try to redeem himself and just be a better person.
Hold up.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Redeem himself from what I get. Him and the Hulk, I have such a huge problem. People say, "What the hell did Juggernaut do wrong?"
Yo, he's murked a ton of people
by accident.
By accident, but it's still murky.
Then the Hulk too. Then the Hulk should be in the same.
He did beat up Captain Britain, and for that, he should get an award.
Yeah,
my thing is, Juggernaut has never been a villain. He doesn't like Charles Xavier, who, in my opinion, was wrong from the beginning.
Oh, you don't know about New Xavier, do you?
Huh?
You don't know about New Xavier, do you? Xavier's here's a good one for you. Do you know one of the reasons why Wolverine lost his memory?
Because
Xavier
mind wiped him. Yeah, he mind wiped him like several times. He's been wrong from the beginning. I have no idea how he was the leader. Reading through Executioner song and reading through like the Brood, and I'm like, how is this dude in charge of these people still? Like, has no one seen through this dude? Like, and why is Magneto wrong? Like, I felt like I was in Bizarro World. Like, seriously, like the entire 90s run of X-Men just felt like Bizarro World. I'm like, are you people serious? Like, you've been blown up, robots sicked on you, imprisoned, huh? What'd you say, Coop?
All of this sets up that Cyclops was right. That's all.
Of course he was. He was Magneto Jr. and he went from Xavier's ideal to Magneto's ideal. But it's the truth, man. Like you can only beat and persecute and spit on people so long before they do something to rectify that, man. And that's what Magneto did. That's what Psych did. They kind of just got sick of this shit, and that's where I come in with this Juggernaut thing. Was he was never a villain. He was just like the Juggernaut. He just was this guy who wanted revenge on another guy who he deserved to have it on. And like these superpowered people kept getting in the way. And so he had to fuck everybody up. Like there was never a point where Juggernaut was like, I'm just going to go. After a while, he got so used to the, I think, image that it was just like, okay, well, I'm just going to come in beating people up. And that's just what I do. Yo, he could have killed Colossus the first time they fought.
That's true.
He could have killed him. And he did.
True.
When Wolverine was there, Wolverine let him fight Juggernaut, and he let him get beat up. Yeah, because he didn't realize who he was. He was like, "Yeah, go ahead, let him go ahead and teach that guy a lesson." And he ended up fighting this dude, human, and then in his steel form or whatever. Juggernaut could have killed Colossus. He didn't. He beat him up and he let him live. He let him walk away. And he told Wolverine, "You guys stay out of my face. I don't want to have to deal." Every fight Juggernaut has ever been in the comics, it was like he was on his way to go do something, and the Avengers attack him. Or the X-Men attack him. And it's like, he's not a villain. He never was.
That's when he was fighting Spider-Man.
Same thing. He just was looking for his dude, right? He was just looking for Black Tom.
He was minding his own business.
He was like literally like just, where's Black Tom? I can't find him.
All right.
He's my friend.
What about when he was stalking Dazzler, right? So he was such a big Dazzler fan. I've got all your disco records and all that, right? So he's minding his own business, and Dazzler's like, I'm going to take him down. So she tries to blast him and all that, does nothing good. So he's not going to kill her. He just buries her alive under a bunch of stones.
She started it.
She did start it, yeah, absolutely.
Every fight Juggernaut has been in goes just like that. He was like on his minding his business, on his way to go do some shit, probably going to the ATM, and the Avengers is like, oh shit, K. Marco. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, I just need some cash.
Your new name is Ian Marco. That's what I'm calling you for.
Yo, for real, man. It bugs me.
Your line of reasoning is unstoppable.
It really is. No, thank you. But no, seriously, it really bothers me that they look at him that way and that he's treated that way, because he's really, honestly, Juggernaut's not a bad dude. Like, morality-wise, if it comes down to doing the right thing or the wrong thing, he'll still kick your ass, but he's not a bad person. Like, he doesn't just, like, squash people.
That's why he's stuck by Rusty in the movie. He's stuck by Rusty because Rusty befriended him.
And why? he was a monster. People were treating him like this kind of way until he ended up breaking free, which I never really understood him having him in mutant restraints and that working because he's not a mutant and his powers are magical. But Deadpool 2 writers, get at me. You fucked up.
I was waiting for the typical shit to happen where like Juggernaut was gonna like turn on Rusty or whatever. That never.
No, because that was his. Juggernaut has befriended more than just this kid. He's had a lot of different characters who were like, he decided to like protect them from whatever was going on, and people are like, oh, the Juggernaut's got that guy, we should stop him, and he's like, I'm trying to keep the building from falling on this dude, like, and that's how he gets into fights with people, and it's crazy. I just don't understand how he's always been looked at like that. But to see him and Colossus fight on screen, God, that was just, I needed that in my life.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is all they really had to do was tone down the shininess, because they didn't give Colossus the sheen in the Deadpool movies. He looked metal, not chrome. You know what I mean? He looked like steel. He didn't look like a 1990s bike.
Yeah, he looked very Schneiderverse. Yeah, that was real Justice League of him.
That was real Justice League of him, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, he did. He looked... And honestly, the CGI in that movie, Juggernaut could have looked a hell of a lot better. I think with his armor, he would have, since he just had his helmet on for some reason, which...
I'll take anything over X3 Juggernaut. I'll take anything
I'm with that.
Over
he literally looks like a penis head.
That really pissed me off. Just because they did such a horrible job on one of the best X-Men rogues ever.
Yo, do you know what really pissed me off about that movie?
Everything?
Anthrax?
No.
Anthrax.
Yeah. Yo.
Terrorism.
Jamie Madrox is one of my favorite characters in Marvel Comics. They picked a great actor to play him, and he had 2 scenes, and both scenes were 5 stars, and then we don't see him again. So it was like, you get this guy, you give him oh my God. Oh, hold on, I gotta put my beer down. So you take this, you cast a semi-famous actor. I'm not sure if he was still doing Grey's Anatomy at the time. You give him a personality.
Recognize him. Oh.
So like you give him his character, you give him a personality. He had a couple of moments, like him when Mystique walked away and he kind of looked at her like, oh, that's nice. That was great. The scene where he gets caught and he's like, all right, you got me, in this little sarcastic, like, snarky face. I'm like, oh, this is so great, and then you don't get anything else from him again. Like, that still annoys me to this day. Like, the only good part of that movie was everything Ian McKellen was in. Well, Beast too.
Yeah.
Like, Ian McKellen, like, throwing the
Golden Gate Bridge.
The Golden Gate Bridge, and when he was going to free Mystique. Like, everything he did was just so, like, dramatic and so cool.
Well, he's Sir Ian McKellen. I mean...
I just use Sir Ian McKellen.
I'd like to point out that I have that movie right here in the special collector's edition. You asked about my nerdiness.
But,
sold one of one.
I mean, unpopular opinion, I like young Magneto better than I like old Magneto. I
go the other way. I like old Magneto better than young Magneto.
I think the one from First Class, I think that dude's fucking phenomenal. I love him as Magneto.
You guys obviously haven't read New Mutants, huh? Have you ever read God Loves Man Kills with Magneto in it? Oh my God!
Yeah.
Talk about
well, you know that's what I'm like. You know, Magneto is unofficially my favorite mutant of all time. So
let's make it official.
Let's make it official. My favorite mutant of all time is the Master of Magnetism. Herr Kuppenstein has stamped that.
Okay. I'm okay with this.
I love the man. I think he's the best thing ever happened in the mutant kind, and I can't wait to see them do something awesome with him. Like, put him on a galactic level threat like he should be, because he really should be. Magneto can end planets by accident if he wanted to.
I'm waiting for him to rip Galactus apart and then turn around, look at everybody, and float away like, I could have done this to the whole world.
And the fucked up thing is, if he's close enough to a planet with a gravitational pull, he can do it. He can do it.
You guys did read Age of Apocalypse, correct?
Yes.
No. Well, wait. The entire saga or just the main storyline? Because there's.
What do you mean no? Yeah.
Because there's Age of Apocalypse stretches outside of the main storyline. Like, there's Age of Apocalypse, the main storyline, and then it goes into a saga of like 400 books or something stupid like that.
You know what I'm talking about then?
The main one,
right?
The main one, where Blink's at the end.
When he rips Apocalypse a new one?
No, I haven't read that one.
here's the thing: he lacked the power to completely do that. He had to have help from X-Men.
What,
Let
to
me tell
rip
you,
Apocalypse
that's a-
apart? To rip
That ain't my
Apocalypse
Mag-
apart, you mean?
That ain't my Magneto.
Wait, you said he needed help to rip Apocalypse apart?
I believe so.
Well, Apocalypse, on top of the fact that his mutant power is technically any mutant power he wants.
Yeah.
He's a mutant MacGuffin. He's not really as OP as people think.
No, honestly, Apocalypse has been dumbed down so much from the X-Men comics. Like, when let me say it like this. During the time of X Factor, when they were a team, when it was Jean, Beast, when it was the original X-Men as X Factor, before Guido and those guys came, Apocalypse was a badass. And I think they dumbed him down because you had the Infinity Gauntlet series coming with Thanos and these other, like, kind of blockbuster villains that were coming.
You mean this book?
That's X Factor, yeah. Yeah, that's the X Factor I'm talking about.
Oh, is that the second of this?
Oh, what is that, Coop? You got what is that, the graphic novel in it? But like, Apocalypse was a badass. He was trying to recharge himself, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. Apocalypse has never been at full power. He has never faced the X-Men or any threat on Earth at his full potential, because every single time they were looking for him to stop him because they didn't want him to get there. Every time Apocalypse went to rest and to get to that potential, the X-Factor would find him, start a fight with him, break him up some more, and keep him. They were stopping him from ever reaching his full potential because they knew what would happen if he did. Apocalypse at full power is a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah.
I would suggest, if you guys want to read a good story, check out X Factor Forever, one of my all-time favorite reads. Has a great, it's basically what would have happened if Louise Simonson had kept writing X Factor, right? And it has some great stuff about Apocalypse in it.
Okay. Yeah.
It's non-canon, but it's a great read.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. Well, I like all kinds of storylines involving the X-Men. It don't matter if they're canon or not. But yeah,
it's funny as you guys are talking. I'm like, it's reminding me of like these random like Deadpool moments, and it was the one where Apocalypse wasn't like. And I'm sending it to you guys now,
yep.
And it was like he has risen, and like he grabs him. He doesn't have any of his like armor on him, and Deadpool goes, "Holy Wes Craven's nightmare! You scared me."
I see him. Yeah.
And
who drew that?
Goes, you let it talk. He goes, and Deadpool goes, you can't get me to stop. So Deadpool turns around and goes, but watch this, 50 bullets to the face will shut you up.
Who drew Deadpool at this point?
Mike Hawthorne probably drew that, maybe. Did
That's
Mike Hawthorne draw that?
What's up?
Did Mike Hawthorne draw that? Like is he the artist for that book right there that you showed the work for?
The artist was. I had it here and I lost it like that quick. Lan Medina.
Okay. I love that. I love him looking like that. Deadpool looks fucking great in this book.
I like when they get that little fold over like a Smurf hat.
Yeah, and the cone head.
I love that.
Yeah, the cone head. That's awesome.
But yeah, man. Like I said, man. Like I highly suggest if anybody listening, if you want a Deadpool book, pick up The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Like that's the way to go.
Go.
I will do just that. That's great. I mean, from when we started talking, I've been definitely more interested in the characters. I bought the soundtrack for Deadpool 2.
How is that?
That thing?
How is it?
Good.
Yeah.
It's good. Mark's got me listening to his show, thinking about hip hop now. So I'm listening to this.
The look on your face, man.
Branching out into all kinds of new stuff, man.
That's awesome, man. Hip hop is a wonderful thing to get into. In my opinion, I love it. I'm kind of biased. I've loved it all my life. So, yeah, definitely get you some of that up in you.
There's a lot of good hip hop out there, and there's a lot of trash out there. But the good thing is, if you search and you seek, you shall find.
Oh, you will.
So
it's out there.
So it's out there. And now
So you're saying there's more than just Beastie Boys?
Oh yeah, there's way more than just Beastie Boys. Yeah, you got your Post Malones
There's Vanilla
now.
Ice.
You got your G-Eazy's now. You know what I mean? It's not just
Yellow Wolf.
Yeah, you got Yellow Wolf, he's a phenomenal lyricist.
Yellow Wolf, honestly, and people hate when I say this. He's better than Eminem in my opinion.
I mean, which is kind of weird to say because Eminem signed him. You know what I'm saying? So like,
I would too. If I heard a guy like that and I was Eminem, I'd be like, yeah, I need this guy close to me.
yeah.
I don't want him on the other side, on the opposing side. He's check Yellow Wolf out. They did the BET Cypher. Yo, check him out. He's dope. He is dope.
Yeah.
Ariana.
Hey, yo, that was my favorite moments of that song. Because look, when I listened to this song, and then like I started like, yo, I love the way he did. That was so funny because I could definitely, I'd be the same way with that chick. I'm in love with that girl. I don't know why. I've always been in love with Rihanna.
Oh, yeah.
Such a crush on that girl.
I was a big Heavy D and the Boys guy fan.
So was I. I still am.
Yeah.
Yo.
So for real? Are you kidding me?
Yo.
When
Yeah,
they did
man.
the remix together?
The Fat Boys.
Oh my god.
Yo,
Heavy-
Heavy D made big guys look agile as fuck. Like as far as like
You know he was a
movements and
dancer at first.
What do you mean? He was dancing all over his videos.
No, I'm saying he was
Yeah,
a dancer
yeah.
before he
Oh
was a
yeah,
rock-
but I'm just saying, like you know
Yeah,
what I
he
mean.
was a
Like he
dancer.
made
Huh?
he made big like yo man like what?
Yeah,
what,
he really did make Big Brothers real smooth.
Yeah, yeah.
He really did.
Y'all ain't just about to call me Heavy D because I'm heavy. Like
Nah.
you know what I mean? Like nah.
Overweight
Yeah,
lover.
exactly.
Yeah, let me tell you. Every day, Drake should get up and send LL Cool J a fruit basket for his career.
Wow. Wow. Coop.
Then we
Duck under the window. They shooting out here.
shooting.
Coop, they shooting.
Shots. Deadpool shots.
Wow.
Deadpool shots. Bang, 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 bang,
Yeah,
bang,
that was bang, all over the place, man. What was Mark? Why so violent?
am I lying?
No.
I'm not. I'm look. First off, Drake, if you listen, I don't want the problems.
No. Honestly, you're not.
Problems
Yeah,
like Degrassi.
He really, ladies love
Degrassi. Wheelchair Jimmy. Wheelchair Jimmy.
Was that his
Every
name?
time I
Really?
watch
Wheelchair
Jimmy
Jimmy?
go-
Well, I mean, he was Jimmy. He was in a wheelchair, so you know what I mean.
Don't call that boy Wheelchair Jimmy.
Yo, the only time that boy got shot was in
So
Degrassi.
disrespect-
The only time that boy got.
All right, that's it.
But I'm
Thanks
a Drake,
for joining
I'm a
us on
Drake
the
fan.
Mark Wayne Show.
Yo, all jokes aside, I'm a Drake fan. I'm a
We're gonna-
Drake fan.
No,
But the only
that's
time
it.
that boy had a gun pointed at him was by a privileged white kid in Degrassi, and he got hit up in his back and got paralyzed.
Cool.
That boy had a jumper, and he
Cool.
lost
Call
it all.
out May.
He lost it all in the blink of an eye.
Cool. Call out May. We're done. We're done here. Call out May.
Yeah, it's funny because I gotta get up in the morning, man.
Yeah.
Yo, but I want to thank you guys both for being here. Thank you guys, Amalga-Mania. Plug again. Give me the plugs.
Okay. Amalga-Mania. We are everywhere on Earth. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Skype, apparently. Facebook. Everywhere. Check us out. Amalgamania.com. We have the chat line as well. I don't have the number offhand, but you can find it in the group easily. Like I said, your place where all characters are welcome. Come in, check us out. You're going to find something you love.
Coop, you got anything to plug?
Yeah, you can check out my writing and reviews on comic-watch.com. I review Batman, Daredevil, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Justin vs. Justin podcast on YouTube, iTunes, and iHeartRadio, and Amalga-Mania, which is the best of all worlds. It's like
Yes, sir.
it's like a live Wizard magazine. We'll put it that way.
Oh shit, yeah.
Wow. I like that.
Yes.
I think we're going to have to call the people at Wizard and take over.
Write that
We do
down.
Comic-Cons now, so
Yeah, we got a few lined up. We're actually going to be doing the one in Corpus Christi. We have an Amalgamaniac already inserted, boots on the ground. So Corpus Christi, here we come.
I'm with that, man. And guy I can't see in the background. You got anything to plug?
No. Just
Of course he does. The Above brand. Get you some.
the Above brand. Check
You
us
are
out.
not
Check
wearing
us
the
out.
Above brand? If you're not, you should be wearing it.
Yes, sir. Go above and beyond with the Above brand. AboveBrand.com. Check us out. We're very fresh, very new. Got some more designs coming on the way. So just be on the lookout. Check out the website. Order from us. Like us, love us on IG at the Above brand. You can follow us on Facebook as well. At the Above brand as well. Thank you for dealing with my shit.
And production needs. Don't let this man fool you. He does this to me every time we go out. He never tells anyone about this. Man is a musical genius. I just want you to understand that Santino makes beats and does production for small businesses, different people in the hip hop world, whatever else have you. Some of his stuff is already out there. He could let you guys plug you into that later on if you guys want.
The Above brand?
No, not the Above brand. He actually
that's
is
a merch line. That's a merch line
for clothing.
That's a merch line. But if you check out my Instagram and stuff like that, I've posted a couple new things. Like I said, everything's new and everything's fresh. So like we're building from the ground up. We're in the mud stages right now.
Check it out.
You know what I mean? So,
check it out.
So join us as we struggle beautifully. You know what I mean?
Send me some links. We can talk because I'm actually me and my co-host Super Bowl Hobby. We're trying to do a couple of new segments. I have something called the Go Fuck Yourself Awards.
Hey, I like the sound of that.
That sounds like. I'm gonna tell you something. Santino probably already has a soundtrack already made for that.
Maybe I might have something in the vault.
And Super Woke wants to start something called the Super Woke Political Corner, where he explains things that the misconceptions on politics, where people think one thing's another. So we're trying to do that. So I'm looking for beats and I'm looking for stuff like that. So we can talk.
Yeah, please do.
Most definitely. Follow me on Facebook, man. Santino Mancebo.
I'll give him your info, Mark.
Yeah, most definitely. We'll definitely link and we'll talk.
Absolutely.
Where can people subscribe to the Old Man Wade Show?
You can go to Podbean, The Old Man Wade Show. I'm also on SoundCloud, The Old Man Wade Show. I'm on iTunes, The Old Man Wade Show. I'm on Facebook, The Old Man Wade Show.
Spotify? Spotify? You on Spotify?
Not yet. I'm working on Spotify.
Okay. All right.
You can find me on Instagram. I'm Mark A.W. Lynch. You can find me on Twitter. I am Mark A.W. Lynch. You can find me at Bam Smack Pal. Google Bam Smack Pal Mark Lynch. That's Mark with a K. You'll find me there. I used to write for Movie Pilot. Movie Pilot doesn't exist anymore. And I'm also writing for my best friend's website, Black Rabbit, BlaqueRabbit. I'm currently working on a piece on why Luke Cage should be the new Captain America.
Hey, I'm not mad at that.
I'm
not mad at that idea at all.
They won't let it go down.
That comic I sent you still got to read it.
I got it already. It's actually in my reading list for this week. I should get to it hopefully by Sunday.
All right, but before you go, anything else you guys got to promote? Because I got to hear a damn it Wade from somebody.
Oh, I've been preparing for this one.
Go for it, Coop.
Damn it, Wade!
That came from the diaphragm. I think Coop was really he might have practiced that in the mirror a couple of times before the show because you should have seen the mustache as it was accentuating what he was saying, and it was like even the mustache was vibrating. He meant that shit. Damn it, Wade. Thank you for having us, Mark, and for